we got to do that over again.
Oh.
All right, so
We missed the pledge.
we missed recording the pledge, so. All right, first item of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting September 12th. Everyone's had a chance to read them. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the regular board meeting September 12th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. Next item of business are the general fund vouchers 79,789 through 79,880 and wire transfers 20230,107 through 20230,156.
Move to approve.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the general fund vouchers and wire transfers as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed. Motion passes. The next item of business is the public comments on agenda items. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to share at this time? Looks like no, but we have a full house tonight, I might add. So then the next item of business is the spotlight on education and review of professional learning community summer institute.
Yeah, so I think that's the reason why we've got a bunch of people here tonight. So I'll turn it over to the staff, but we had 17 total people that went to the PLC Institute in Minneapolis this summer when you count all the teachers and all the administrators that went. So it was impressive. So we invited anyone who was available tonight or who could make it in. So we had several who can come in, and we just want to invite them to share a little bit about what is a professional learning community and kind of some of the takeaways from the Institute. So.
And could we add, have you done one before? Is this your first time doing a PLC conference?
This was my second.
Okay.
This is my first PLC conference itself, yeah.
Okay.
I did
Some of
last
you
year,
do.
1.5.
And we did.
One in person, one
So it
online.
wasn't the same.
Yeah, we did an online one last year.
And we
I was
did.
gonna say, what did you
yeah.
do, drop out halfway through?
Yeah. Online was good, but not the same. But we did have a handful of people who had been to it before,
Okay.
including myself, and yeah.
So when you talk about the idea of PLCs, they have this definition, an ongoing process in which educators work collaboratively in recurring cycles of collective inquiry and action research to achieve better results for students they serve. Well, basically what it is teachers working together to help students learn more. It's the simplistic version of it. And when they look at it, we have kind of three big ideas that we ended up talking about at first. First of all, the idea of ensuring students' learning is kind of the first kind of pillar of it. Building a culture of collaboration, working together, that type of thing. And then finally focusing on student outcomes. And I think when we think about that, everybody goes, yeah, that's great. But doing it is not always as easy as it sounds. And so I really enjoyed my time learning how to actually incorporate all of those things and make everything work together while working together for the betterment of our students.
The doing it part is more difficult than it sounds, but we focus on 4 critical questions when we talk about our students. What do we expect kids to learn? How do we know that they've learned it? What do we do if they already know it? What do we do if they don't know it yet? And so we focus our conversations around those things, which is very easy to get distracted by other details of, your room, the day, things going on. But those 4 questions keep us focused on student outcomes and what we want them to achieve.
Okay, well, I guess my big takeaway, I listened to a man named Ken Williams who was just fabulous. And what resonated most with me, with him, is you got to raise the student to the crown. Okay, everybody should be at grade level. That we have to make sure that we're holding everybody accountable to grade level. We're going to raise the student up to the crown. We understand that there's going to be some that aren't going to be able to get there quite yet, but we're not going to deviate from our mission. Okay, that's where we come in with some of the tier 2 and tier 3 interventions to give them support and then bring them back up to grade level. So in a 30-minute lesson, let's say you spend 10 minutes reinforcing, and then you bring them back up to the grade level for 20 minutes. And hopefully, by that time, we'll have everybody up to that point. Another big takeaway was, here's what we want, and we need to come together as a, what's our final outcome? Here, our mission or whatever, and then here's the final outcome. You've got your curriculum above here, but what do we want our students by the time they graduate from Clear Lake High School? What essential skills, standards do we feel that our students need that reflect our community? You know, the curriculum, yes, that's part of it, but we need to focus on essential skills. The curriculum will fall within there, here to there. So I guess that was my big take on that. So, and I enjoyed it. Thank you.
That kind of goes in with what we talked about with the community aspect too.
Anybody else wanna?
Yeah, for me, the PLC process kind of answered all of my teaching questions that have been coming up over my years of teaching that I didn't really know. Like, I know there's an answer to it, but I just don't know where I'm getting it from. And it's taught me to ensure the learning as well. So me and my third grade team this year, we are implementing proficiency scales and just making sure that we are ensuring that they're learning those skills. And we have learned so much more about our current third graders just in like 2 months' time than I think that I've ever known about them in a specific unit before. And then just listening to the PLC speakers, they're like the most knowledgeable people that I think I've ever, it's like the most worthwhile professional development that I've ever participated in. And so I think that now, like one of the kind of sayings that the PLC process and they use is, if you know better, you can do better. So now that we know better, we can start implementing things and do better as a teacher and for our students.
I'll say just my takeaway is that, so we spent the last, at least since I've been at Clear Lake, we spent the last 4 years working on our standards and hopefully leading to, I'm not sure what to, but and I think going to this conference actually showed me what the end goal can look like. So it's like that we saw the target, and then we know the end goal of what we need to get to, and it was nice seeing that end product while we're still working on stuff. So we know that at least the last couple of years we've been working on standards, it has been worth it, you know, that we can get to a certain point. And it was nice even seeing where they started the PLC process at Stevenson High School in Illinois, that they actually have the full standards-based grading, and they don't have like a basic ABC grading system, and how they actually use that system in their high school. It's nice to see that as well.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was focus on the skills. You know, you might be teaching that curriculum to teach them the skill. So it's not so much the curriculum you need, but to make sure they know that skill in the end, and you can teach it in multiple different ways. And you know, us onesie twosies in the district, we're not by ourselves. We work together and we help each other. Yeah.
One of what Casey said, I don't know that I've ever experienced anybody who's gone to the Summer Institute, myself included, who hasn't said, you know, that was probably the best professional development I've ever done. I think every person who's ever gone there that I've encountered has felt that way.
I would even say that because I did the online one, and I would say that was very intriguing as well.
Yeah.
We cleared up the process, for me at least, you know, because we've been dabbling with the PLC process for a handful of years now, and different forms, and yeah, standard big, you know, we're working on our standards, but it's not that, it's everybody coming together, everybody's on the same page, everybody's holding everybody accountable, and we're all on the same page, and we're in it for everybody, and we're looking out for student XYZ, ABC, and ABC is going to get the same as XYZ. So that was my big take, too.
And a big thing for me is we're not just helping those low-end students all the time, we're giving enrichments for those higher level thinkers as well. You know, we kind of forget about them. So it's what do we do when they don't get it, and what do we do when they do get it? Like, how are we gonna push it further?
I feel like it's been more momentum building as more people have attended. You know, we first went in 2019, and then in 20 they didn't have it. 21 they didn't have it either. We did the virtual version, which was good. But being able to be back there in person this year again with a large group was, I just feel, I think the principals have talked about it a lot. You know, you just feel that momentum when you go there. It's really hard to reproduce the experience of being there and kind of catching that fire from the people that you're there with. I guess it's really hard to explain. You know.
Well, and I went twice, like you did in 2019, and then this time, and you get stuff every time you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because again, it solidifies things more, and there's so many sessions to go to. You wish you had more time, because you have 3 or 4 things that you want to go to every time. So then you're like, okay, you go to that one, I'll go to this one. So thank you for sending us. Really.
So has each area, like, does all the first graders or the second, third, whatever grade level, has somebody in each grade level gone to this? Or each area in the high school, like English or math or
Not quite yet.
socials? Not quite yet? So how can we make sure each area is covered? And how do we get more teachers going?
I think you know, that pandemic knocked us out for 2 years, you know, and I think I would hope to continue to keep sending people every year, and we just keep building that momentum. And I think too, the more people go and come back and speak positively about it, you know, I heard more people this fall, and I think Teresa and Brian have talked about that too, saying more people are saying, well, I want to go next year, you know, so I think it's building that momentum.
Can you start talking about it now and getting dates out? I mean,
Well, the elementary also has a PLC leadership team, or to read
Yeah.
through the book, and we're
Okay.
going to be working through that. And we kind of coach each other along the way
Yeah.
too, with
Yeah.
all the new staff that we have.
Yeah.
it just sounds really good from
It
everything
is.
we've heard and from people talking. I want more people to go.
Mhm.
And what do we do to make that happen? And I think if your cohorts, all the first graders can really all be there and go, that'd be great.
Yeah,
But-
it would be, and I think for a lot of people, they have vacations. It's summertime.
Right.
They have weddings. You know, all that kind of stuff. So
That's why I say, can you get the date out now and just say, FYI, this is next summer, put it on your calendar before
Well,
anything else.
first
so
of the
that-
year it usually comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll start
Yeah.
talking about it, yeah.
because it was different, I think I went at the end of the school year in 2019.
Yeah.
Timing of it now is
Going
better.
in August is it.
Gets you running,
Because,
kind of
yeah,
ramps you
we're
up,
like
yeah.
all excited.
Yeah.
I came home all excited in 2019
Yeah.
in May, and I was like, well,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready for summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Was there any team exercises that you guys did, or?
We got together.
Or is it all
at the
individual?
end of both
Second day.
days, yeah, and just kind of met for like an hour
Mhm.
and talked about all the things that we did and some ideas and, yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, Chris had to kick us out, so we kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we said,
I'll
let's
be for an hour.
use this collaborative time, because they gave collaborative time, let's do it, you know, and I told them, I said, this is like the greatest feeling I can have, because I'm actually saying, hey, we've been sitting here let's go, it's time to leave, and had to shut it down, which was awesome.
Did you travel together?
Some of us
No.
did, you know, but those was some.
Yeah, you were, I was in the other band.
Yeah, we
so-
made a different band.
So you got there safe and sound.
I did.
I think we're
made-
very committed financially to make this happen and make
Yeah.
it so
It's
more
wonderful.
can go.
We know
Yeah.
it is not.
The 17 of us did dinner together
Yeah.
the second night.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
just
saw
a
the photos.
lot of team time
Signed
together.
it, so we're good.
Thank you.
Have you guys can think of any kind of incentive to get more participation too? I mean, we'd probably be open for those ideas.
I think word of mouth, I think that's the
Yeah.
best thing. I mean, if we have a good chunk, I think, that have gone that can vouch for it and kind of gently persuade, that might, or suggest, you know what I mean? I think that's probably gonna be the best thing.
Yeah.
And I think once, because we're doing our PLC work right now, once they see, if they haven't gone, hopefully we have enough that are sprinkled amongst everybody that, okay, I need to learn more, I want to learn more, I'm ready to go, so I can see that
And
happen.
we got that response from staff too when we first put it out. Kirsten, one of them, I'd love to go, but if I'm taking a spot from somebody that hasn't gone, let
Yeah, I
them
did.
go.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that
Right.
anybody who wanted to go could go, but I did want to go again, and he said it was okay.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be our biggest problem, is those that have gone will
Want to go back.
want to go again.
and then have our new people come as well. So, I mean,
Every 3 years, somebody's gotta go. Or wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great to get into a cycle where people
Oh,
would?
yeah, because it is,
Yeah.
it is a wonderful renewal of just energy and thoughts
Yeah.
and good stuff.
So is there a cap on how many can go?
No.
Oh, okay.
This year, we threw it out there, and I think pretty much everybody that wanted to go was able to go. And, and the nice thing with some of the ESSER money we can use for professional development right now, and so it was really a nice opportunity. And it is summer, and it's weddings and trips and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not worried about getting people to go going forward. I think people are going to be pretty excited to go. Yeah.
I think there's also a database of videos that we can subscribe to with
Yeah.
these speakers. So if we wanted to, we could show those to staff as well.
Yep. And we've done some of that. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you for taking your summer time too to go.
Thank you for sending us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, it's fun to see the inspiration. Well, thank you, you guys. The next item of business then will be the approval of a resignation.
Okay. So note in your packet, but one of our bus drivers, Rob Erickson, has chosen to resign. So he gave us a notice 2 weeks, and so we posted the position, and we're looking for a replacement. But yeah, Rob Erickson is the bus driver.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
To approve the resignation.
Second? Do I hear a second?
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the resignation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
All opposed. Motion passes. The next item of business is the approval of the winter coaching roster.
All right, and that's back in your packet there.
Here we go.
If everybody can find it. So yeah, just with wrestling and boys basketball changes to the head coaching positions. If you recall, a meeting or two ago, Mr. Blanchard, who had been doing boys basketball for the past year, decided to step down, and then Mr. Sargent, being back in the district, was very interested in that opportunity. Obviously, had been the head coach for many years, and so he put in his letter of interest, and so put him there. And then wrestling interviews, we've had that posted for a while here this summer and fall, and so Jason Wood was selected and accepted as the head wrestling coach. So that's a new change there. And then some of the others who interviewed, then we wanted to give the head coach an opportunity to have input, certainly, on helping complete their staff. So Matthew Anderson as an assistant, and still working on junior high. That season doesn't start till January, so we do have a little bit more time. But otherwise, the other positions, I believe, are not changed. It's in the junior high.
Looks real good. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the winter coaching roster. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. The next item of business is the approval of early college credit and start college now applications.
So those are in your packet as well, and we're not, we'd like to approve them as a group because we can't mention names or anything like that, but we've got multiple students, and
I need to stay out of this one.
it's one of the, yeah, Matt's gonna not participate in this.
Is there two of them, Chris?
There's
Multiple.
students, there's lots of kids. There's, Mr. Melberg, what'd you give, about 6 of them, I think? So there's two, there's Start College Now, and then there's the Early College Credit Program. They work very similarly. Start College Now is the technical colleges, and Early College Credit is the UW system typically. So the important thing to know is that it's part of it's a law. We will pay for them, but if it's a class that we offer in-house here, that's the same kind of class, and they haven't exhausted it already, then those are some that we don't pay for. So going through the applications, like with Mr. Melberg and Mrs. Kaler, there's a couple of them on for students that are like their second choices, or if it's something that and the students and the parents knew, like, yep, I've got this on here. So we're approving that they can take it, and we're going to recognize the credit for it, but we may not be paying for it. It's just that they're looking for that we recognize the credit too. So that's part of the approval as well. So,
All right. I will entertain a motion then.
I move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the early college credit and start college now applications. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item of business is the review of the September 28th board retreat.
So I don't know if you want to share, or you want me to share just a quick summary of what we did, or it's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. It's your meeting, or
Well, I don't know.
We
Anybody got anything that they want to bring up about that meeting?
We got the outline in the packet of what we, the kind of items we. Just so our people know what we talked. We did some activities and talked about board governance and board development for a good chunk of time. Talked about engaging our community in strategic planning. Talked about the process of the superintendent's evaluation, and then just did some more miscellaneous business, reviewing the board calendar and doing some general planning and things like that. So I don't know if there's
I think that is a good summary.
anything else to add.
Nope.
Well, I thought, I'll just add, it was a good meeting. It went, time cut us short because, you get into good conversations and talk about some good things. Time goes by pretty quickly, so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I really appreciate
You
it.
guys, me.
Yeah, and I appreciate the time commitment that, that the board made to come in for an extra special meeting too.
Yeah, so it was a good thing. All right, so then the next item of business will be the review of our safety drills.
So just on a yearly basis, we need to make sure that we just discuss this at a meeting, at an open meeting, that we did. At the start of every year, we do safety drills in both buildings. And principals, feel free to jump in if you want to add any details. But every year, we make sure that we do a fire drill, make sure at the beginning of the year, severe weather or tornado drill, we call it. We have to do that 2 times a year, once in the fall, once in the spring. Fire drills we do more regularly, but we certainly did our September one. We'll be doing a observed fire drill this Wednesday. It is Fire Safety Week, so we'll have the chief come in, Chief Burr come in and watch that one. And then we also did a hold drill, which is a safety drill. That's not a lockdown drill or anything that's meant to be intense. It's a hold drill is simply where we tell everybody, we just announce hold in place. Students stay, clear the hallways, just stay in their classroom, and we continue teaching as normal. And we do those a handful of times throughout the year too, for different reasons. So, but just wanted to, I don't know if principals have anything to add to that, but just verify that we did do those safety drills here in September.
Okay.
And I guess there's no approval or anything needed. So.
All right, then we'll move on to our next item of business, which is the approval of the district safety plan.
Yeah, so in your packet, or it's not in your packet, but I made a separate copy and then it was shared with you ahead of time. But this is our emergency manual, and we don't publish that publicly. But this is a document that we updated about 4 or 5 years ago. A really thorough update with a team, and then since then we haven't needed to do any major significant updates. But this summer we did just go through it and update, and just mainly it was names and spots on the maps and labels and years and things like that, contact information. So this is the big manual that has all of the different everything from severe weather and fire and things like that, to a hold procedure, a lockdown procedure, how to respond to crises, the other kind of crises that can happen in your school community, in the building, outside the building, death of a student, death of a staff member, different crises like that, and the response. Over the years, we've gone up and done extra training at CSA 11. So this is the manual that has all the details, And then what we do every year, and Dr. Ernst did a great job of kind of updating this during his time here, but we have a more condensed version that goes out to all the staff members, and so it's a one-pager that is their quick reference, and I think that's actually included in the back here. But that's kind of their one-page go-to. Maybe I lied about that. Maybe it's not in the back. But that's really in a just kind of stressful situation or just a quick surprise. Hey, the fire alarm went off. You grab that packet. You've got a ready reminder right there of exactly what the procedures are, and it's the key phone numbers and things like that. And then there's also one for the office staff, administrators, and secretaries as well. So, and again, it's a yearly requirement to ensure that we have reviewed it and just talk about it with the board and make sure that that we have safety plans and have it approved every year by the board before December.
On the Suicide Threat Act procedures, Chris? Would these
What page is that? 18?
We're on page 18. Wouldn't these actions be taken regardless of the cause of death of one of our students?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if it should be labeled as such and not exclusively
Sure.
as a suicide death.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, that's something we can look at.
So I don't know, does anybody have anything they want to look add or talk about as far as the safety plans are concerned?
All the names in it have been,
They look like they've all been updated.
Yeah, that was we took time this summer and updated that.
Okay, well then I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve district safety plan. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the district safety plan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. Next item of business is the approval of a snow blower attachment purchase.
Okay. So back in your packet, you can find that. So you may recall, what's been a year and a half, almost 2 years, I don't know how long ago, we got that, it's a Bobcat brand utility vehicle, but it's a pretty versatile machine. So we use it for, we've got pallet forks on it, it's got a bucket on it, it's got a broom on it, and it's got some storage space in the back for hauling things. So we use it for snow plowing, lots of different things. So the custodial crew would like to add kind of the final piece to it would be having a snowblower attachment onto it too. So the price is $6,850. This is it's a bit of a discount because it was something that I guess another client was going to buy and then ended up not buying, and so they're able to offer it. It's a 21 model, but it's a brand new item. And so the price will go up a couple $1,000s here come January 1st. So Mr. Osmond felt like it was a good time to do it, and it's something they'd like to do to kind of complete the that would be the full set of tools that would go with that vehicle. So just wanted to bring it forward for your consideration. I guess I would recommend going forward with it.
Then I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the snow blower attachment purchase. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the snow blower attachment purchase. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item of business is the review of the 2023 third Friday September pupil count.
Okay, that's next page there in your packet too. Being my first time going through it, it's an interesting process to count students. It seems like it would be pretty simple, right? You just count heads and count students, and there's actually more to it than that. It involves open enrolled students who live in our district but go elsewhere, open enrolled students who live in other districts and come here. So we actually count the students who are residents in our district and factor all that in. There's a coefficient factor that goes into 4K students that I won't get into here. But basically, with move outs and move ins, you can understand why the DPA picks one day, the third Friday in September, and says you count your students that are in attendance, that are residents, or I'm sorry, that are registered on that day and attending your school. And so our number is 599 is what our pupil count ends up being. Which this document just shows
where are you
more.
finding 599?
Yeah, when you actually when I enter it into, that's on the
on that.
pupil count that I submitted.
Okay.
So when you factor in the kids who are in 4K, and then those count for 0.6 because 4K is a part-time program, and it's part-time, and even schools that do full-time 4K, it still only counts for 0.6. So, and then the other thing is we get credit for summer school. So we actually, when we figure out all the hours for summer school at the elementary and like the marching band program over here and the weight room stuff, we actually get FTEs for that, so that gets factored into it. So, yeah. So as far as actual bodies. It's not 599, but when
It's 565.
but when we total up the FTEs, we're at 599. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that up, down?
It's pretty steady, I think. What did I say in my
600
memo?
last
We're
time.
600 last year.
600 last year.
Yeah, so it's steady. We're up a little. Like summer school is up a little bit. We got a couple more FTEs. Three more FTEs this year than last year because we had a little more summer school participation. Last summer with COVID, I think people just chose not to do it. So, and as you know, this is one of the key data points that goes in here in the end of the month when we'll be submitting our final budget. We've got open enrollment figures now, and we've got pupil count here, and we've got we'll be getting our equalized evaluations from the state here very soon here, October 15th. So those pieces of the puzzle will all start coming together where we'll actually have our real revenue limit number that we'll be able to punch into that formula and then submit our real budget.
So with this, every year we go through twice a year. Do we visit this or just once, Chris?
In second Friday in January, we also do it, yeah.
So every time we visit this, the question is, how do we get more open enrolling in than out?
Yeah, that's
So do you have any thoughts on that?
I have a lot of thoughts on that. I guess.
Share them with us, will you?
Well, a couple. I mean, we look at our community, and we have a lot of jobs in our community, and we actually have people who live elsewhere but come here to work. I think aside from open enrollment, I think it'd be nice if there's a lack of housing. We're seeing that with families, we're seeing it with the staff that we hire. That's part of it. So to me, I guess I'm getting off track of open enrollment, but just enrollment in general, I think that's an issue that we need, up with our community. Sitting on my stump here, I guess. But we need housing if we're gonna, have more kids going to school here. But as far as open enrollment, that comes with having quality programs, where people want to be here, have quality programs, academic programs, co-curricular programs, quality staff, quality, technology and resources for kids and curriculum. I think that's what drives it the most. We do know that a lot of the people who open enroll out, it has to do with daycare situations or work situations. When I look through the list of kids who open enroll out, I don't see a bunch of students who used to go to school here and left because they were disgruntled or anything like that. You may have a few things like that, but most of are students that we've never met. They've never gone to school here. They've gone to a neighboring school their whole career. And maybe they moved to Clear Lake and wanted to keep going there, or maybe their parents work in that community or have daycare there. So there's a lot to it. But I agree that it's definitely something that we need to work on.
Do you think things like Amory with their construction program, you think that would have anything to do with?
I don't see a lot of kids starting here and then leaving midterm. Some do, but not very many. I see it more as young kids who start elsewhere and just stay there.
Sure.
So I think that's part of it.
Well, and there's some people that will move in here from some other place and see that Amory has, a more bolstered curriculum, I suppose, and more options for the kids, and they'll move them there, I suppose. We have a neighbor up the road that did that. They've never been in the buildings here, and it's too bad we didn't get to grab them. Do we have a marketing strategy for pointed at certain demographics, like, all the ones that are rolling out? Are they getting any marketing from us, and are we doing anything like that?
I would say not directly at this point, but that's something that we can certainly work
I would
towards.
think that if we do this little community initiative, it'd probably be the best marketing we can do right now. I mean, to start, at least.
I remember when I was first on the board, and that was years ago. I don't even know how long ago it was, but we actually, at that time, the numbers were reversed. We had more coming in than going out, and that teeter-tottered, and here we are today. But along with the housing comment that you made, have we had any conversations or thoughts concerning, approaching our town or approaching our townships about maybe playing with the idea of loosening constraints that keep people from building in our community? Or any,
I think some of those conversations are beginning with some people, yeah. Yes. And I don't know that it's constraints. I think there's a lot, housing market's complicated right now, I guess, so I can't speak as an expert on that for sure, but I think those conversations are important to have, yes. Because I think it's a community-wide enterprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to take you guys' time.
Another thing I notice about this is our bubble is really coming up into high school. And how do we make sure that we're offering enough classes that the kids need certain years when we're getting so many kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, mine would have liked to take Spanish too. It didn't work in her schedule this year, so she totally flipped and went to another language because we weren't sure she was going to be able to finish Spanish when it fit with her thing. So how do we make sure students can get the classes they need when we have this bubble coming up?
I think the main thing right now is staffing, and that's where we struggled
Right.
the most this summer, is we weren't able to obtain the number of staff that we wanted, so we ended up shorthanded. And we're making it work, but it created situations
Right.
like that. So our goal this year, I've reached out to River Falls, Eau Claire, and La Crosse about student teachers that are teaching in the spring, and seeing if we can grab onto some of those people early. We're going to get jobs posted earlier than we did last year with some of these openings. But I think the main fix right now is if we had the staffing here, we'd have the offerings that we need to have.
I think it's hard because we just started, but I look at this and now all of a sudden you got to start working on next year because this is going to be quite the bubble for 3-4 years.
Do you
Yeah,
think-
our 8th grade class is large right
Yeah.
now.
Do you think there's a way that we can nab winter graduates?
That was my reach out to those universities River Falls was willing to share their student teachers. Eau Claire wasn't willing to share, but they were willing to send out an email from me. So I emailed all the River Falls student teachers, and then Eau Claire sent one out. What I found this fall is that most of those that were student teaching in the fall at a district, that district already had them under contract for the spring because they're all facing the same issues that we are. So they're grabbing them and hanging on to them. So goal number 2 is to get student teachers here. So we've got a math student teacher that'll be here in both of our buildings starting in January. And my hope is to get some more student teachers in here so that we can do the same thing.
And we still have an English teacher shortage second semester? Is that still?
Potentially, yes.
Potential.
Yep.
And did we fill the para position?
It's not filled yet. It's posted and we got applicants. Yep.
Yep, we'll interview next week.
Yeah, it feels like it's just in and I'm already asking questions about the struggle for
Yeah.
next year.
Well, we want to get ahead of it.
I do think this year we know going into the winter what our needs are more. Last year some of those openings at this building were kind of later, and we got so get behind the timeline a little bit, and it's pretty tough right now.
Right,
But
it'll
this
be a
year, I
double
think,
whammy with the numbers.
yeah, this year I think going in, we're going to know a lot sooner what we can post, so which will be good.
Do we need to seek professional help with that at all?
As far as like a recruiting,
Yeah.
I don't know that they're gonna find candidates that aren't there.
I mean, not when
Like-
it's every place that's having an issue, I don't see how that's.
I know districts that have gone to kind of non-traditional education sites to post their jobs. And what I'm hearing from them is that they get all kinds of applicants that are nowhere near qualified for the position. So, I mean, that's a route that we could entertain, but I'm not sure that anyone's getting candidates that are actually viable.
Because they still have to be credentialed.
Right.
Right.
That's
And be high quality.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can find some stones to turn over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're still on the pupil count, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just
All right.
things we can notice from that, yeah.
So then the next item of business, unless anyone's got anything else we want to visit about, will be the approval of the 2023 summer school dates.
Yeah, so last day of school in this here in June of 23 here is a Tuesday, June 6th. And so what we planned is that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there'd be nothing going on in school. The following week on Monday would be the in-service day, and then we'd actually start with students in the building on Tuesday the 13th and run until June 30th. I guess I failed to enter my board, my notes. I forgot. We'd run through June 30th. So 14 days of summer school. We usually try to go 14 days. Sometimes it's 15. But 14 makes the most sense. I think pushing it to have in-service on Friday and kids on that Monday, I don't feel like that's worth the push for the morale, and I think it's good to give students and staff the rest of that week off after a hectic end of the school year. So.
Ready for a motion?
Then I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the 2023 summer school dates.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2023 summer school dates. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item of business is the review of homecoming.
So I'll turn it over to, we'll start with Mr. Melberg and Mrs. Anderson.
So our annual homecoming was 2 weeks ago. It was a great week with a lot of participation from all of our kids. So Monday night was it's kind of turned into the traditional outdoor games and bonfire with a great turnout from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Mr. Crawford does a great job kind of entertaining the kids on the football field that night with all kinds of different games that you don't normally see, and some disgusting eating of you don't know what at times, but
Outdoor games, yeah.
but the kids enjoy it. Chocolate covered onion gets them every time. So we had volleyball throughout the week during rap as classes took each other on. Powder puff was Wednesday afternoon out on the football field, which is always a lot of fun. And we've got a smaller senior class this year, and even smaller than that is the number of girls in that class. We actually had a few staff members step in to fulfill, to make sure that our seniors could play, because they weren't going to be able to play. So
No injuries.
We,
Is this an 8-man
I told them
powder
there's no workman comp coming out of it. But there were a couple of them hobbling around here the rest of the week after Wednesday, so it was entertaining. Traditional mystery guest, I did not realize, I guess, how long, and I don't know how long it's been going on, but it's been going on for quite some time.
Probably
so.
30 years, 25, 30 years, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that until I talked to our mystery guest this year. Dave is our custodian, our daytime custodian, Dave Rindall. So that's a pretty cool tradition that Mr. Crawford and the student council continue to do. We had a great week of sports too. Thursday night, our volleyball team was down 2-0 to Clayton and came all the way back. They kept us here late, but they made it worthwhile and came all the way back. And that same night, we hosted a cross country meet down at the Chalet, which I gotta believe is one of the best places in October to run a cross country meet. And Derek Cryer, one of our senior boys, won that. So that was a great Thursday night. And Friday night, our football team hung with Cadott for quite a while. Cadott's a pretty good team, so we were competitive there. Saturday was the dance. We had 122 kids in attendance that showed up for the dance. Now, not all of those are our kids. There's about, I think there were 17 on the guest list, but if you look at our numbers, we got 181 kids, 912, and we had 122 show up to the dance. So I think that's pretty cool, and it was a stress-free night. Mrs. Anderson even joined me to help supervise. So a big thank you to the entire staff, because it takes a lot of patience that week. But a huge thank you to Mr. Crawford. He goes out of his way to year after year to make it a great week for the kids. So huge success.
And in the elementary, we just really focus on what the pride we have of being a Clear Lake Warrior. School pride. They don't understand all the other stuff, but we're all about being warriors. So we do participate in some dress-up days. We modify them because they don't always understand what big kids are doing. And then
I do not.
And then on Friday, the last couple years now, we've had the tradition of the pep band and the cheerleaders coming over to kick off our Friday morning assembly. Mr. Peterson came over this year too, and it was just exciting to see all the kids just super pumped up and really excited. And then yes, I finally got my homecoming date. I invited my husband to chaperone the homecoming dance, and it was wonderful. The high school students were excellent, so it was just really a wonderful week.
And the parade, the Friday, the weather was just amazing for, just picture perfect for the parade and the game. It was, it capped off a week in a
Our
great
biggest
way.
issue with the parade is we have so many kids that want to be on multiple floats.
not time to get in front of others.
It's just too short.
It was really fast.
Yeah.
You guys sprinted by.
You gotta slow her down a little next year, I said.
Couldn't even find my kids fast.
Chief likes to keep them moving once he gets them started.
Just have them go around the block so they can just catch the next
Yep.
wave through. Well, good. I love hearing the homecoming results. All good stuff. So anyway, thank you guys for the effort you put into that. The next item of business is the discussion of a special board meeting on October 24th, 2022 at 6 p.m.
So I alluded to this before with people count, but we'll have some key data points come in here in the next week or two with from the state and the property values and things like that. So that allows us to, between October 15th and the end of the month, get that final revenue limit worksheet figured out and finalize our budget. So we approved the preliminary budget back in July, shared it in August with the community, and then we bring back the final with, I'm sure there'll be some small revisions, and we'll officially set our levy on that night. So Monday the 24th is what we're planning for, and I know the group discussed meeting at 6 p.m. because there is also a fall concert that evening. So rather than come at 5:30, generally the meeting's not super long. So rather than 5:30, start at 6. So when the meeting's over, people can just remain here if they've got kids in the concert, which I think is great. So 6 p.m. on the 24th.
Awesome. Well, and with that, I think I'm going to hand the reins over to who gets to drive this meeting.
Well, I'm just wondering, Greg, if you have to step out and Skip's not here, and we're having another meeting on the 24th, can we table our board policies to the 24th so that we're all here to talk through that? Is that okay?
We had kind of talked a little bit about that. To be honest with you, I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. This is a busy time of the year for me. So.
I'm just thinking with a second meeting.
Oh, doing it at the next meeting.
Doing it at the next meeting.
How does that play out in your playbook, Chris?
Because otherwise there's 3 of us.
I mean, I do
Yeah.
think we need to get them done this month.
Yeah, I think
That's why I thought second meeting.
Yeah, I think we should get them done this month because we're behind schedule. We kind of have a long range plan to get us caught up before like the holiday break in December. But I guess and I don't think, it's a long list. When you look at all those policies, it's a long list.
But they're really
Most of them are updates. Most of them are pretty straightforward. So it's not like they each involve a big discussion. So
No, I'm not seeing.
I'm down with that. That's a great idea.
yeah, we could certainly do that on
The only thing I saw was just, there was some people
Yep,
that
that need to be
just aren't
changed.
here anymore.
Yep, yeah.
That's one of the biggest changes that I saw, and a lot of them that were just,
Yeah, that's when those were not. That's what when I was going reviewing them. The first two got switched, and then the rest of them. So I flagged all those. So when I pass those along to Mr. Petrito, I will make sure that he gets those updated. Yeah.
So we are agreeing to a special board meeting on the 24th, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And
We're
that's our
talking
final
about the
budget.
budget. And are we going to put the
We
second
can-
reading of these policies
can-
and just do the first reading?
We can table L and M
To the next meeting?
To the next meeting, and then the second reading. So L we could approve at the 24th, and then M we could have that be the first reading. That's
Yeah.
fine, and then we just would come back in 2 weeks in November on the 14th, and then just we'd be right on schedule still.
Yeah, just since we already have that one and
Yeah,
we're down to 3 of us.
I'm great with that.
Okay, so we're going to table L.
And we'll still have time because the concert's not till 7 and the budget should be fairly
Yes.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of.
So L and M are moving to next.
So we're tabling L and M.
Okay.
Running this meeting for the remainder of it.
So that's, yeah, so it'd be the treasurer or the clerk, I would think. My gut tells me
Yeah, my
that it's clerk.
I don't like
think.
your guts.
Well, there's nothing much left.
There's nothing much left, yeah, all you have to do is.
It's a really nice way to say something. So I guess we're on to superintendent notes.
Okay, so some of the things.
do we need to approve the table or no?
No.
No.
Nope, I think you can just not take action on it. Yep. I just was going to share, going back to, back into September since last time we met, I attended the WASDA Fall, Wisconsin Association of School District Administrators Fall Conference in Madison. It was great. There was a component built in for new superintendents the first day, and then the regular convention after that. It was fantastic. There were over 300 superintendents in attendance, but I attended, workshops on, board and superintendent relations and governance, multiple ones on school finance, multiple ones on school law, different topics. We had general sessions with the governors, state superintendent gave us welcomes on the second morning, sessions on school safety, and then a lot of talk about, there's an election coming, and then next summer it's the start of a new biennium in the state, so a lot of talk about what's going to happen with the state budget going forward. That's going to be a huge thing. For us in Clear Lake, one of the things that as I was sitting there listening, talking about the kind of the fiscal cliff that's there for a lot of districts. So the legislature opted on this current biennium not to allow there's no increase in the revenue caps for districts. They put more funding into education, but basically that amounts to property tax relief. We couldn't spend any more money per pupil. The justification was that there's ESSER money to spend. Well, that's hard to use ESSER money for long-term planning. It's one-time money. So it's a tough situation. It's going to be a pretty critical budget. The one thing that I was able to feel sitting there is having passed our referendum and knowing that, we were able to, build in enough to do what we did with staff compensation and to continue that going forward. We have that cushion. It makes me feel like at least we have a little bit more cushion than many districts who are going to be in a lot tougher straits. But it's still going to be a critical budget. So sorry, don't mean to get off topic here. But that was a big talk down there. As far as the rest of them, September has been a busy month, and early October continues to be, with a lot of DPI reports like the student count, pupil count, summer school count, summer school transportation, and then multiple budget reports, which I'm looking at Mrs. Karnick. She is key with those. Our annual budget report, which is kind of closing out last year's and reporting that to DPI, special ed budget report from last year. So we're in the process of finalizing those. We also had a single audit last week, or it's a federal audit, and again, it's because of the ESSER funds puts most districts like ours never get enough federal money to beat the threshold to have a federal audit. With ESSER money, almost all the districts are. So that was last week, and they were here. They worked on it with us for a couple days. They're going to actually come back. Mrs. Karnick had to be out a couple days, not feeling well, but they'll be coming back to finish that. But that was a big thing last week. We just had midterms. We got parent-teacher conferences here in the junior senior high tomorrow night. Sports and activities have been in full swing for a while here. Football, volleyball, cross country are all in their final week of regular season here. Cross country has conference tomorrow, and volleyball's got their final regular season matches. Football final regular game on Friday, home against Colfax. Band and choir again has a fall concert coming up here at the end of October. We've had other fun activities going on. We had Food for America Day back in September. Mrs. Watson has taken FFA leaders to multiple workshops. Mr. Larson took a group of students to a Build My Future Day last week. And then exciting coming up here at the end of the month too, we've got 3 students who are going to be participating in the state honors choir, and we'll hear more about that in November too. So lots of good things going on. So
Thank you, Mr. Peterson.
yeah.
Next item, future agenda topics. Other than tabling our policies to the 24th. Any other future?
I think we continue to talk about Fund 40 and wish lists for that, kind of
46,
following
yep.
up with the
Mhm.
bus garage tour we took today.
Yep, that's definitely an ongoing process right now.
All right, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I do, Nettie first.
Second.
All right, and with that, we are adjourned.
All right. Thank you.